basically, I did write out the process for how you actually, go about making a bar graph. I mean, essentially, you go to Google Sheets and you just go through all this stuff. You do have to type the data in. So one column, as you'll see, is this. You type the colors in. The other column, you type the frequencies. And then what they're saying is, as you'll see through the screenshots I do, and I'll actually go through it as well, you highlight the columns, and you're going to click on the menu bar, you'll click chart and stuff like that. Eventually, you'll get to bar graph. The only thing that's annoying though about Google Sheets is that it doesn't call it a bar graph. It calls it a column chart, if I remember correctly. But we'll see though. Pretty sure that's what it calls it. Let me just double check. Yeah, it calls it a column chart. I don't know why it does that, Google Sheets, but that's just what it does. So, okay. I mean, the process, again, you don't have to memorize it. It's in the notes, and I emailed that to you. These are just some screenshots I'm showing you as well. You'll have this here as, again, in your first two columns. Okay. And let me actually go through it. This is crazy. Let me just go through it, but I got to type in the data. Let me just do that. Wait a minute. What am I? Okay. Let me just type in the data. Actually, no, I got to share it, don't I? Let me do that. Here we go. I just got to stop sharing a bit because then what I have to do is I have to share Google Sheets. Let me do that quickly. No. Here we go. Okay, so can everyone see what I'm doing? And yes, you can. Good. Okay, so I'm going to start now. So here's going to be color. Right, so I'm typing it in, just like you would in Excel or something. I'm typing it in. And I'm going to type in the colors now. So we have blue. Let me do the frequency. Blue, then we have 25. Orange, right, that's 40. We have green, which is 21. We have the color white, and that was 15. We have the color black, that's 18. We have purple, and that was 17. I typed in all the data, okay? Now all that data is typed in, right? Now, what I'm going to do next is this. Let me see if I could, that's not going to work. All right, let me keep going. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to, you can see in the screenshots also, I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to scroll down to Chart. Okay. I forgot the highlights. Let me just do that. Do that again. There we go. I forgot to highlight it, so that's why. Let me just delete this one. Delete this one as well. There we go. Now what you do is for chart type, okay? You don't want a pie chart. That's going to come later, though. But for type, you're going to click. And now what it actually calls a bar graph is kind of a bar chart, that is. That's what this is, but that's not what I'm just calling a bar chart. So I'm going to stick with the book. This actually is a column chart. And you can see this is what we get. I do recommend you play around with this. So also, let me do this. As in the screenshot, what you can do is you can see here, we do have these lines which indicate the frequency. These are the major grid lines, if I remember that they're called that correctly. You can get the minor ones by scrolling here in the chart editor, scrolling down to, actually not scrolling down, going to customize, then going to grid lines down here. And you have major grid lines. Now you click on minor grid lines. And you can change the number of them if you want, the minor grid lines. You can see before we have 2, so that's what I'm doing. So that's how you can actually create this kind of bar graph. I mean, I do have the screenshots in Google Sheets. I figured also it would be good, you know, in Google Sheets, in PowerPoint, because I figured it would be good to help in case you can't see the video of this for whatever reason. So. Okay, so I figured that was good. So that's basically our first example of a bar chart. Let me get back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so again, you know, I had the screenshots in there as before. Okay, so now we have our chart, you know, we made it, okay? Now this is actually another example that, you know, again, we have a frequency table. Here is where we have exam scores, okay? And what I was gonna do is, I didn't make the chart, I made the bar chart over here. I don't know why I have it written here. The bar chart though, okay? You know, I was gonna have you guys try and make it, okay? Let me do a poll though, I wanna see. Okay. Just curious to see what you guys, if you guys want to try it out using Google Sheets. If not, that's okay. I can always go through it myself. I can go through it and show you guys. I don't mind doing that. All right. Let me do it. Let me do it with you guys. You know what? Let me go through it, and on your own, I would recommend that you make a bar chart for, you know, one of these frequency tables, okay? So again, let me go back to Google Sheets. You know, the notes, again, I emailed you, so you should have them in front of you. Bear with me. So here's this. I'm just going to delete all this. Kind of like how we fresh start, so to say. Okay. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, on that last slide I was on with the exam scores, okay, what I'm going to do is type in the data. So we have score on exam. So I'm typing in the frequency table, okay? Typing that in. We have frequency. Okay. Then we had A, B, C, D, and F. Okay, now we type the frequencies, right? We have 35, we have 15, 29, 43, 26, right? So again, you could see that I just typed it in, okay? I just typed in Google Sheets. In Google Sheets, I did. You can get the Google Sheets easily. I think I showed you guys how to do that. It's also on the slides. You just basically can search for it through Google. Okay? All right. So now what I'm going to do is, as before, I'm going to highlight. Okay. Go to insert here. Click. Okay. Go down the chart. Okay, and for some reason, it gave me this kind of graph. That's interesting. All right, well, again, we don't want that, so what I'm going to do is go to, no, not customize, excuse me, setup. Okay. Again, a bar chart, this is not the kind of, I guess, bar chart that our book does, so I'm going to go to column chart, okay, like so, and this is what we get. Again, I like to have some of those so-called minor grid lines in here. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do if you mess around with this, which I recommend you do on your own. Okay. So for instance, if I switch the rows and columns, we have this. Okay. So let's now go to customize, go to grid lines. Right? I want the minor grid lines in there as well, okay, like so. And we'll just keep it at 2. I mean, we could actually do, if we want, I guess we could do more, like if we did 5. Now then we have this.